And during that 16-game stretch where he hadn't homered, I think there was still a lot of hope that things were going to get going in the right direction. And now they have. Let's check out the Brewers lineup, and it is brought to you by Ford. Milwaukee, third in the National League in runs per game, second in on base. Frelick, Contreras, and Black, the top three. Then Adames, Turang, and Hoskins, Dunn, Perkins, and Churio. And let's check out our starting pitcher for the Cubs. It's brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. What do you got on Javier?
Well, you're going to see a lot of hard stuff because you're going to see about 75% sinker, cutter, four-seamer. But what's impressive to me is his ability to locate in all the quadrants. And his slider has been very good. It's been very tough on hitters. And so has his sinker. So sinker, slider.
And here is Sal Frelick to climb in and ready to go on Cinco de Mayo. The 26-year-old from Tijuana delivers. And that one in for a strike. Morel in on the grass at third, guarding against the bunt. Now a couple of steps back onto the dirt. This is a Brewers team that can really run. I mean, they have guys from the top of the order to the bottom of the order, whether it translates into stolen bases, Joe, or just running the bases. There's speed.
Well, there's a ton of speed, and a lot of times it's the first to third, but you're going to see them push the envelope on the bases all the time, put pressure on the defense. They have four guys and like top 30 run speed in all of baseball. It really makes a difference.
1-2, Assad back to work. Went with the curveball. Frelick laying off it. Sal Frelick getting the start today in right field. He could play all three outfield spots. They actually tried him some in spring training at third base. I think they still feel like he may play there this year. The 2-2. Fouled off the plate.
You know, Boog, that's 3 curveballs in a row. And he only throws it 6% of the time. But I have a note in my scouting thing that it says I don't think he throws it enough, because I think it's the breaking ball that has the most break, the most depth. It's a true 12-6. I think he could be really effective with it.
Frelick takes that one. And now the count at 2-2. See what he goes with here. Amaya pushes the buttons. Javi is ready. 2-2. And a foul ball.
This is one of the last things you want to get into before an extremely hot hitter, William Contreras, a long at bat with Frelick. Get him out of here. You look what he's done. 3 curveballs in a row, the sinker, the cutter. He's almost seen everything. There's another four-seamer that missed outside.
Yeah, the sinker, the cutter, and the four-seamer are the 3 pitches he uses most frequently, all above 20% of the time. He goes with one of those 3 here. In there, got him. He used the sinker to freeze Frelick, and there's one away.
Well, that front hip sinker can be devastating when they start it at you and you give up it as a hitter, and by the time it gets in the hitting zone, it is by you. Just an outstanding pitch, and really important to keep him off bases. He loves to run, and with Contreras, he loves the fastball, so it allows you to not necessarily have to throw him a fastball first pitch.
Fouled off the plate, 0-1 on William Contreras. His season off to a really good start. And a guy that likes to hack early and with success so far this year. The 0-1. And now it's 0-2.
I love that pitch, Boog, because it started as a strike and it's a sinker that's inside, and for a guy that hunts the fastball, loves the sinker, that doesn't mean you can't throw it to him. You just got to throw it to him where he can't hit it, and that he cannot do much damage with.
Slider in the dirt, and now 1-2. Javier Assad signed back in 2015. Mentioned native of Tijuana. He goes 6'1". They list him at 200 pounds. And he has been excellent this year. Drilled in the air, right field, going back Topman, back some more, he'll turn, and it's off the base of the wall. Contreras racing for second. He tossed his helmet off, and he's in with a double. He did the ode to Sarge to Gary Matthews there, at least in some form. He just kind of removed his helmet as he was midway between first and second.
Yeah, after a sinker in and a slider down, he tried to backdoor his fastball and didn't get it far enough away, and probably far enough up in that sense. When we talk about Contreras, he loves the fastball. And the thing about Sarge, though, is Sarge flipped it off early.
Yeah.
You know, he waited a little while. He's a dangerous hitter right now that has played in every game so far this year he started, whether it's catcher or DH.
Swanson patting his chest. I think that Amaya pushed the button for pickoff, and Swanson did get there in time. Just to finish up on Contreras, Joe, you talk about the fact that he's hot. He's also just really good. He's one of these guys.
The whole year.
He's been one of those guys, though. You go back to the start of 22, that year in Atlanta, and then last year and this year, he's one of the better catchers in the game.
Yeah, and and I think he was more of an offensive before defensive, but his defense has improved a lot too.
Contreras and Swanson having a chat. Tyler Black at the plate with a count 1-1. Black. That one in the dirt. 3 for 15 so far to start his major league career. Native of Canada, first round pick out of Wright State in 2021. No score, just getting going. One out man at second. Assad. And a swing and a miss makes it 2-2.
You talked about the team speed that the Milwaukee Brewers has. Tyler Black is the first baseman. Stole 55 bases in the minor leagues. How many first basemen steal that many bags? It just doesn't happen.
Matt Murphy, Ricky Weeks know they have an athletic group. On the ground to first. Bush will charge, gobble it up, takes it himself on the play. Contreras to third. Time now for our McDonald's McNugget of the game. Javier Assad is the first Mexican-born Cub pitcher to start on Cinco de Mayo. So there you have it.
Make it memorable.
That's a nugget. Here's Adames with a count 1-0. Bounced foul. Willie Adames, a free agent at the end of the year. It's being acquired in 21 from Tampa. Settled in as their everyday shortstop and one of their best players. Good defender.
Really good offensive player since 2021. More homers than any shortstop in baseball. I mean, he's the whole package. Hits that strike breaking ball really well. So if you're Assad, you have to be careful. Don't hang it.
2-1. Here it comes. Just off the outside edge. And he has an intangible quality as well. I remember talking to Craig Counsell when he was managing Adames, and he talked about Willie is a guy who cares as much about his teammates as he does about himself, and people respond to that, is what Craig said. On the ground is short, backhanded, sliding stop by Swanson, and he got him. There's the Gold Glover at shortstop. Beautiful play by Dansby Swanson. He steals a hit from Adames and a run from the Brewers. The patented play in the hole. The slide, the pop up, and the throw. Got him. Some good defense right there. Here come the Cubs up to hit. 7th in the NL in runs per game. Horner a homer yesterday in that leadoff spot. Then Tachman in half. Morel, Bush, Swanson, Wisdom, PCA, and Amaya. And that lineup will go up against Freddie Peralta. Nico, first pitch swinging. Starting pitcher for the Brewers. Brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
Well, you see Freddie Peralta. He's a classic north-south pitcher. Fastball up, slider down. His slider has been devastating. Hitters are 2 for 37 with 17 Ks. Think about how slow Nico started, and he leads the team now in multi-hit games. 8 out of the last 10. 9 total. Leadoff spot has been good for him.
The 0-2. Broke his bat. That's the first. And it'll be Black to take it himself, and Nico retired. How about that play, Joe?
Well, we talked about how Assad is so good with runners in scoring position, but he gets a little help from the Gold Glover, Dansby Swanson. Love how quick he gets up and gets rid of it. Knows he can one-hop it over there to get the out. I mean, that's an outstanding play. Better yet, he took it away from the fellow shortstop.
Yeah, and that's a play we saw him make last year over and over and over again. And I think so far this year, just with my eyes and anecdotally, I would say he has not made that play quite. I mean, look, it's a really hard play.
Correct.
But it's one of the things that separates him. And the Cubs defense has not been great so far. I would say Dansby's defense has not been great so far.
Yeah, and you try to put your mind to thinking, why?
Right.
Because it's not an age thing. I know there's some new pieces, and I know there's a new third baseman playing most of the time next to the shortstop. There's a new first baseman, but it's pretty much the same defense, and they've just, for whatever reason, they've struggled. But you know what? Usually when you have a good defense, it'll get back there.
Yes. I have a hard time imagining that Dansby Swanson isn't going to deliver a really good defensive year.
I would have to agree with you. I mean, that's the thing about averages. Averages go up and down, but usually at the end, they're right where they're supposed to be.
It feels like there's not as much volatility with individual defense either. There's Tachman doing what he does as he takes the walk. And with 1 out, a man aboard, and Peralta will work out of the stretch.
Well, that's usually where you want him because he's been really good. He struggled a little bit with runners in scoring position, so if Tachman can find a way, maybe the Cubs can scratch some runs across here. But when he got in trouble against Pittsburgh, it was because of walks. Not necessarily hits, but walks.
Swing and a miss from Happ. Ian, good to see 2 hits in each of the last 2 games. You need a little more slug out of him. Joe, in our open and talking about starting pitching, the Cubs the last 16 games, a 2.16 starters ERA. They're 9-7.
But where would they be?
Oh, no question.
If they weren't pitching, because their offense has struggled. Injuries have played a big part.
I'm just saying, if I gave you the information,
I would guess it would be better.
You'd guess the record would be better.
But then if you gave me all the information that Bellinger was out and
fair enough.
Yeah.
Bullpen and the offense over the course of that 16-game stretch. Peralta missing outside, and now it's 2-2. He's got one of those carry 4-seam fastball. He's not a big guy. He's listed at 6 feet tall. He might be that big. And then the slot is a little bit down, and it's got a little bit of that push to it. Tachman at first. Check swing, bluff throw to first. Tachman scrambles back in, and now it's 3-2 on Ian.
See, I know Contreras loves to throw, but sometimes when you do that, you take the strike away from the pitcher because you block the umpire out. And that was in the box is a high strike. It's a borderline pitch, but sometimes you take it away.
Happ swings and misses. He got him on a changeup. Defensive setup for the Brewers, brought to you by Northwestern Medicine. The Brewers won the Team Gold Glove a season ago. So far, their defense has been okay. Churio, Perkins, Frelick left to right in the outfield. Dunn, Adames, Terang, and Black Contreras behind the plate. Yeah, they were pretty clearly the best defensive team in baseball last year, and as good a run prevention team as you'll find. They led the majors in ERA, and they led the majors in outs above average. So pitching and defense. And then they got bounced in the first round against the Diamondbacks.
But a very hot Diamondback team. You know, we talked about Christopher not chasing the slider. There was a slider that was off the plate, and there was one below the zone. He didn't chase it. Now he's in a 2-0 count. I wouldn't think Peralta would give in to him.
That one clips the inside corner. That was a slider. He took a little something off of it. Morel back in, awaiting a 2-1. Down and away.
It's a really good takes, and I think it's a fine line for Christopher because he needs to swing the bat. This is not a guy that you want going up there and being passive and necessarily trying to get deep in counts. If he sees something he likes, he needs to let it go because he's got so much power.
In the dirt at 97, and Morel will take his base, and with 2 outs, the Cubs have 2 aboard. And folks, this Cub game is available in Spanish, brought to you by Toyota on your SAP audio setting, provided by WRTO 1200 AM. Miguel Esparza with the call.
And what I was saying about Christopher, sometimes you can take their aggressiveness away because you tell them they swing at too many bad pitches. All of a sudden, they don't swing enough.
Here's Bush now. Joe, what's your impression been in the bit that you've seen of this guy?
I like his swing. I like his mechanics. I like the way he uses his legs. I love that he uses the whole field, that he's able to stay back on slower pitches. I've seen him hit a changeup for a home run.
Check swing did not go on the appeal to third. That's Hunter Wendelstedt down there.
I think that's where he's susceptible, and I think as he sees, you know, more pitches in the big leagues, he'll learn to lay off it. He's got a good idea of the strike zone.
Yeah, the 4-seam up has been tough for him at times. Inside there.
But there are a lot of guys it's tough on. It's learning to lay off it is the thing.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the best example of that was Mike Trout. For the longest time had a hole up and in, and the way he learned to close that hole was not to swing at that pitch. So 2-1. Almost tapped foul. If you look early in his career, there were more results on pitches up and in to Mike Trout, and over the years there have been fewer and fewer because it's just, if you're going to dot that spot, good for you.
Yeah, the guy that comes to mind for me was Big Papi. The hole got smaller and smaller and smaller, and then perennial all-star.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Bush overwhelmed by that 97-mile-an-hour four-seamer, and the Cubs leave a couple. End of one, no score. Back here at Wrigley as we go to the top of the second. John Sciambi, Joe Girardi, Taylor McGregor, and it'll be Bryce Terang. Morel in on the grass, guarding against the bunt. And that one fouled away. We talked about all the speed on this team. This guy's probably their fastest guy.
Yeah, sprint speed same as PCA, 29.4, 14th in the Major League Baseball.
Assad fires.
And that speed is what makes him so effective hitting the ball the other way, because Morel has to play in and you just don't have a lot of range on the ground balls. You have to respect the bunt, and he shoots a number of balls by the third baseman to his left or to his right.
Two and one on Terang. Hits the ball on the ground a lot.
That was on the ground.
Yeah, it was.
Got on top of that heater.
On the ground, and that's at Nico. Second baseman throws out the other. Cubs defensive setup is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield. And they are aligned thusly. Hap, PCA, top, mid, left to right in the outfield. First to third, it'll go Bush, Horner, Swanson, Morel, Amaya. Another start behind the plate. First offering in for a strike to Rhys Hoskins. In the air, a towering fly ball, and Hap fighting the wind and the sun. Makes the grab. 2 down.
This is how it feels to have a health partner who doesn't just treat part of you, they care for all of you. Because the only way to be your best self is with your best health. So you can live purposefully, live gracefully, and live fully.
Oliver Dunn now. Pushes a bunt towards the first baseman Bush. Diving. Got him on the leg. Tagged it out. Nice play by Michael Bush. And that is out number 3. Pat Murphy, are they going to look at it?
Yeah, look, when I saw it originally, it looked like he tagged his foot. Yeah, he gets him just on the foot. Dives. Michael Bush. Great play.
For your next vehicle, let the number.
We'll get back to work. It'll be Swanson and Wisdom, and then Pete Crow Armstrong. Dansby is average down to 218. And the first offering is in for a strike. His last 14 games, he's hitting just 167. Fouls that one off.
And I think for Dansby, I think the thing that could possibly get him going is starting to use the other field more. Because it seems like he is seeing a lot of breaking balls and they're pitching him away. They're not going in or middle into him because he loves it there, and he's going to have to prove that he can hit it. And I have seen it do it a number of times against the Phillies when I was managing and he was in Atlanta.
Take a peek at the defensive setup for the Brewers. On the ground to short. Adames a step to his right. And throws out Swanson. So Dansby retired. 1 up, 1 down. And it'll bring up Patrick Wisdom. Wisdom, the designated hitter. And a little Whitney Houston for everyone. First offering misses upstairs. Wisdom with his first homer of the year yesterday, his 12th career homer against the Brewers in 34 games. Also had that big at bat late. Some insurance. And we were talking off the air about, for Patrick, it's just contact. Because when he makes contact,
it's loud, really loud. Boog, there's power. And then there's big boy power, and he's got big boy power. I'm so impressed at how hard he can hit a baseball. And I'll tell you what, he's taken 3 pretty tough pitches here, which is a really good sign to me that he's seeing them pretty good.
Green light on 3-0 and has a rip at it. How about this one yesterday?
Yeah, a little cutter. And that's way back, 438 feet. These aren't the greatest hitting conditions.
Outside corner, and that was.
What's the word JD uses?
Egregious.
Yes, I didn't want to say it. Yeah, I mean, you can see Patrick. He knows it's a ball. He's taking his.
Yeah, that's egregious.
Guard off.
Very pitcher friendly. That's the umpire tendencies. More strikes called away and down. That one inside. And Wisdom will take his base. Let's send it downstairs to T-Mac.
Yeah, it's obvious that when Patrick Wisdom touches a baseball, it can go a really long way. But Craig Counsell saying post-game he was more impressed with the at-bat boot that you mentioned in the 8th, the single that scored Michael Busch. That ended up being the difference in the game. I thought it was interesting talking to Patrick after the game, and he said the biggest difference for him in that at-bat was watching the way that Hudson had pitched to Dansby, the shape of the pitches, where they were pitching it.
Crow Armstrong putting down the sacrifice bunt, and Wisdom moves up to second, so a man in scoring position for Amaya. Finish up, T-Mac.
And just all the information that you can take from a hitter in front of you. And Joe, you've been in that situation before. What are you watching?
Yeah, I'm watching how they pitch hitters that are similar to me, like the type of hitter that I was, what they're throwing against right-handers, where they're living in the zone. Are they up, are they away, are they down? And you can learn a lot from your teammates at bats.
All right, so last sacrifice bunt there from PCA. Let's watch Freddie Peralta, and it is stop, drop, roll. Get down. In the air, Black into foul ground and makes the catch. Amaya retired, and the Cubs leave a man. End of 99,000 now is what they're telling me. All right, get your tickets now through the end of the game at Cubs.com/raffle. 99,212. That's some jingle. Blake Perkins taking a strike, the 0-1. Strike 2. Perkins, another of their guys who can really run. And a swing and a miss, and Assad gets his second strikeout.
Well, paint 2 away, and then why don't you just go up above the zone and get him to chase a little bit, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, when I look at Javier Assad, I think what stands out is his command of his fastballs, whether it's the sinker, the four-seamer. Cutter is kind of more of a slider-ish, but it's still pretty hard. Really good command.
First one in there to Jackson Churio. This kid's just 20 years old, made their team out of spring training. They signed him to an extension. I mean, it's amazing. He was signed to a bonus a few years back of $1.9 million, and then the extension. So it's coming fast and furious, and so are the strikes from Assad.
And he went through a really tough period, and it went from about 282 to 146 in a 16-game period, and then he's gotten hot again. He hit 146 over those 16 games.
Do you have a 20-year-old or a teenager that you played with or against that immediately comes to mind in terms of a youngster being thrust into it right away?
I mean, did I manage a player that was really young?
Yeah.
I don't think I managed a 19-year-old.
Or a 20-year-old, yeah. I mean, it's young, man.
Wow. You're supposed to be a sophomore in college.
2-2. It's popped in the air. Bush. I got it. Wandering over, makes the catch. Let's send it downstairs to T-Mac.
I just want to follow up on what you were saying about Assad and how good he's been. I loved what Hayden Wisniewski said yesterday to us at Marquee on the set. He was talking about how much confidence and how much he's learned from Javier Assad, because they've manned similar roles, both bouncing from the bullpen to the starting rotation. And he said it best about Assad. He goes out there and gets outs. Sure, we can break down the ways in which he's doing that, but the bottom line is when he's been called upon to get outs, that's what he's doing. And Hayden said that's what I need to do too.
Out getters. That's what Craig Counsell wants, either in the rotation or in the bullpen.
The other thing that Javier does is he has 6 different pitches and he commands them all. It's just not like he has 4 or 3 and he's working on the other ones. He's able to command them all for strikes.
Made his debut August 23rd of 2022. And from that debut, he has given off that low heartbeat feel, and seemingly unfazed out there. Blocked the other way, and Frelick hits one fair down the line. It's off the sidewall. Happ will pick it up, throw to second. Kicks away from Nico, but Assad is there to back up. So it's a 2-out double for Sal Frelick.
It looked almost like a check swing 2-out double that a pitcher was above the zone. Take a look at this. It's not a bad pitch from Assad. He's trying to elevate, and he just tries to hold up because he realizes it's a ball and ends up being rewarded for a check swing, a 3/4 swing, and it hits a double down the left field line. It's amazing when you get the barrel of the bat to the ball, how hard it goes, even if you don't even swing hard.
First one to Contreras, misses for ball 1. So dangerous hitter up here.
Have to be careful here, Boo. This is their best hitter in the lineup, and you have an open base. Probably not a lot of runs going to be scored off of Freddie Peralta today.
Don't know if they have installed the be careful button on PitchCom, but
well, what used to happen is if the pitching coach would look at the catcher and point to like his brain, be smart.
Right.
And I used to always say, well, do you think I'm trying to be stupid the other times? Or, I mean, I'm trying to be smart all the time.
Yeah. Frelick at second. We're in the third. There are 2 outs. Contreras awaiting a 2-1. Here it is.
You think at the 2 pitches that he's had a chance to swing at or strikes, both of them have been down and away in that little corner, not like getting a lot of the play. That one was just off. I think he's pitching him pretty good here. Now you have to make sure you don't get greedy and try to do something where, well, I think I can blow him away upstairs, because they've tried that. Make him go fishing.
2-2. Tried to get him to go fishing, and he wouldn't do it. Joe, do you like to fish?
I do. I really do. But I was never big at taking the fish off the hook and baiting the hook.
Okay.
I like just catching them.
Got it.
You?
Didn't do it a lot growing up in New York City. On the ground, Nico Horner gobbles it up and throws out Contreras. Good work by Assad. Pitches around a 2-out double. And he does. He'll take the Tasty Trade jackpot. Congrats to Lou for winning today's edition of Mound Ball, presented by Tasty Trade, stocks, options, futures, crypto.
Lou ought to give a little love to the grounds crew for having that little lip where the ball couldn't roll over the lip of the grass.
That's right. Shout out Dan Kiermaier and John Tumpane, right? John Tumpane participated in it. And it's not all Lou Swalen. Lou's got the loot, though. Pitch to Nico. And that's lifted to center, shallow. Perkins. And out number 1. Well, the Padres come to Wrigley for a 3-game set starting tomorrow night. Don't miss any of the action. You can purchase tickets now, Cubs.com/tickets. Come on out, say hi.
Just added Luis Arraez. They let him off yesterday. His first game with the Padres, 4 for 5. After Profar was fantastic in the leadoff spot, he got bumped to number 5.
Hartman taps that one over to Peralta. Fires a 2-seamer over Tyler Black. He's like, Freddie, a chance.
Did you rather catch a 2-seamer or a slider?
I mean, it absolutely 2 hands and it handcuffed Tyler Black.
It's amazing how many pitchers can't make this easy throw. Now, I don't think Freddie's necessarily one of them. He does a nice job and he short arms it, but he throws it down and you're not expecting that. You're expecting it chest high.
First one to Happ is in for a strike. Ian struck out swinging his first time. And a line drive and a base hit out into center field. Good to see from Ian Happ. So a 2-out base runner. And the inning extended. Here comes Christopher Morel.
Well, that's the thing that Ian Happ has done in this little hitting streak that he's got. He's getting the ball in the air. He was hitting the ball on the ground a lot, and a lot of times that's just timing. He seems like he's synced up. Left-handed hitters have had a hard time with that slider. Not Ian Happ. Before that single for Ian Happ, he was 1 for 21 off of him with 11 Ks. It's a guy that I don't want to see.
Yeah. That one down low, missing.
Freddie Peralta's just not giving Morale anything to hit. He's saying, if I'm going to miss, I'm not missing in the strike zone. I'm missing in, I'm missing down, I'm missing away. I'm not letting this guy beat me today.
That's his first swing of the day, and he went with a curveball. Freddie Peralta doesn't throw that curveball all that frequently. That's 7% of the time. Grounded to third, foul ball. Foul ball. So now 2-2 on Morel, who's homered 4 times in the last 6 games, including 3 in a row.
That's Christopher Morel. Streaky.
Yeah.
But you just got to let it play out, because you never know when the hot streak's going to start, and you never know when it's going to end. Just let him stay in it for as long as possible.
There goes Happ, and Peralta will step off. And the out there. So it'll go 1-4, inning over. On to the 4th. No score.
Out to beat Chicago's Bank.
Back here at Wrigley as the Brewers come up to hit. Tyler Black stands in. It'll be Black, then Adames, then Terang, 3-4-5. And that one, according to K-Zone, was a strike at the knees, but John Tumpane says no, not egregious. The 1-0. Ground ball, fair ball down the line. That'll kick off the sidewall. Tauchman will grab it, fire it into second, and that'll be a long single for Tyler Black.
Really good play by Michael Tauchman here to get to this ball really quickly. Hit down the right field line by Bush. Comes off that wall hard. Tauchman understands the caroms. Gets it in quickly and holds Black to a single, which is really important because you keep the double play in order. A guy with a lot of sinkers like Assad can get some double plays.
That's drilled right field. Tauchman back, sliding, makes the catch. Nice grab by Tauchman. He got turned around but was able to haul it in.
Turned around with a little topspin lob there, Boog. A little top spin, and you think it's going to go farther. The wind catches it and drives it down and makes a really good catch. Gets up quickly, understands that there's speed all over this lineup, and I got to get it. Looked like he wasn't sure it was in his mid either. He had to check it, make sure.
First one to Terang. Round ball up the middle. Swanson sliding, picks it up, throw to first. Nice play, Dansby. His second brilliant play of the afternoon, and there's 2 down.
And that's on a really speedy runner in Terang, who's 14 for 14 in stolen bases. A ball up the middle. He gets to it, slides, and man, he gets up quick, Boog. I mean, he's just so athletic. Gets rid of it quickly, and Assad really appreciates it because that's first and third if that gets through with 1 out.
He's been the best defensive shortstop in the game the last couple of years. At least according to metrics and according to the National League Gold Glove process.
Rhys Hoskins, usually a patient hitter, gets much more aggressive with runners in scoring position. So don't take for granted that he's going to give you a strike here because he's trying to drive this run in.
The 1-0. Oh.
Those were things that we would get in analytics, where it'd say like he takes the first pitch 82% of the time. Here's a ball that looks like it's a strike. He's not quite getting that low strike, but much more aggressive with runners in scoring position. So you knew that the approach had to be different.
That one's always dicey too, right? I told the story somewhat recently. Mike Lowell, former Red Sox player, would talk about in games leading up to divisional games, he would take the first pitch on purpose a lot, and would do so with the thought of they're playing the Twins, and the Yankees advance people would say he's not swinging at the first pitch, you can get a freebie, and then going into that series at some point look to ambush something.
Yeah, and back then they didn't probably keep track of that as much, but today they're going to know. In the division, he ambushes. Not in the division, no. And you'd also have a lot of hitters that were take the first pitch, their first plate appearance. And then Mookie Betts was that guy. The rest of the game, no freebies on the first pitch anymore. Making sure they get eye contact here.
2-1 to count on Hoskins. I mentioned he sees a lot of pitches, third in the league in pitches per plate appearance. It's off the edge, and now it's 3-1. Those score were in the fourth. Javier Assad coming into today a 1.97 ERA. You take it back to May 1st of last year, minimum 100 innings. He leads the majors with a 2.42 ERA. And he walked him. This coverage cam is brought to you by T-Mobile. And how about some of these great plays from Dansby Swanson?
Runner on second, 2 outs. Dansby Swanson makes an unbelievable play. And then you see a great play by Michael Busch to dive, tag Oliver Dunn on the back of the foot, and he's upset. And then you get another one with Dansby. And these are with runners on, and they're saving runs with Javier Assad. Not a huge strikeout guy. You got to play defense behind him, and the Cubs have played great defense, what we were used to seeing last year.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, these were two very good defensive teams. The Cubs were in the top quarter of the bigs, and we mentioned the Brewers won the team Gold Glove, but Dansby and Nico, the Cubs double play combo, each winning the Gold Glove, and deservedly so. The 1-0 to Dunn.
Well, he's really not getting the borderline strikes that you would expect from a pitcher-friendly umpire.
Visit on the mound.
I mean, he's doing exactly what you want with runners in scoring position. He's hitting the corners, he's hitting the bottom of the zone, the top of the zone, and he's not being rewarded for it. Usually if you do it enough, over time the umpire will reward you for hitting the mitt.
Here's a 2-0. Used to seeing this from Assad. So runners at first and second. The count 3-0. JD and I were talking the other day. We saw a 3-0 swing from Patrick Wisdom. I thought you would start to see more 3-0 swings because of the percentage chance of getting a fastball, but you really haven't.
No, and I think in this situation, yes, you definitely turn him loose.
That's a strike, and now it's 3-2.
He doesn't like it, but that's a strike, and he probably got a gift on the second pitch, and it just changes the at bat. I mean, that's a strike. The 1-0 pitch that he threw down and away, he didn't get, and all of a sudden it becomes 2-0, and you have to be careful. But now he's got himself back in the zone.
Here comes a crowd. Full house on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. No score, 2 aboard for the Brewers. 3-2 on the way. And they'll do it again.
He's trying to front hip him again, especially after that backdoor cutter he got on the 3-1 strike. Trying to start one in at him. I think he would have rather had it a little higher, and it would have been tougher for Dunn to foul that off.
Another 3-2. And that's bounced to first. Busch is there, and he'll step on the base. And now here at Wrigley, no score. We go to the bottom of the fourth. And we welcome you into the broadcast booth. John Shambi, Joe Girardi, and the president of baseball operations, Jed Hoyer. Happy Sunday to you. What's happening?
Good. How you doing?
Beautiful
day here at the ballpark.
Yeah, this is a nice day. Javier Assad continues to deal. Do you remember when you guys signed him and then just sort of chart the path for him? Because it's been pretty remarkable. I know there was an uptick in velocity from when you signed him to now, but give me a little background in terms of that.
Yeah, I mean, he was a sort of a slow burn in development. He was a guy that was really interesting. And even when he wasn't performing, a lot of teams would always ask us about him in trade. He was always popular. He's sort of, I'm trying to think of 2 years ago, sort of made the leap where all of a sudden the velocity came a little bit. And, he started beating more barrels. But I just love watching him pitch. He has so many ways to get you out. Very old school style. It feels like if a guy doesn't hit a four-seamer, he can elevate. If a guy struggles with a two-seamer, he can do that. He can spin the ball. And his poise is real. I mean, he does not get rattled when things go awry. And I think that's such an amazing thing for a young pitcher.
Well, I would say about Javier, because he's not a guy that has outlier stuff where he threw 98 or he had a big curveball or a wipeout slider. He had to learn to pitch. And I think it's served him really well at this level, because you don't see a lot of pitchers like him at this level anymore. Most of them are power guys.
No, and I always say the same thing, where now everyone pitches with their best stuff every pitch, and you watch him. He has a little bit more in the tank when he wants it.
Yes.
But he pitches and then kind of saves that for when he needs it. And I think you're totally right. I think that he learned how to pitch at a young age without the best stuff, and now his stuff got better, and now he really he can pitch, and he can beat barrels at times too.
Christopher Morel just took the walk. Taylor did a hit earlier talking about how Craig Counsell was saying that the underlying stuff, even when Morel wasn't swinging it well, he had a 16-game stretch, no homers, but there's been less chase, there's been more walk, there's been less strikeout. So that was making you guys feel good?
It's always a good feeling, looking at it, and he's sort of his WOBA and his expected WOBA were a huge difference, when he was struggling, and you knew it was kind of a matter of time that, he was obviously in a slump, and there was no denying that, but you felt like he was going to get out of it just given the underlying stats. And the exit velocities were still good. He is controlling the zone better, and it was sort of a matter of time until he broke out, and it's been fun to see. We haven't, in the absence of Belly and Seiya and some guys slumping, we've needed that spark, and he's provided it the last 4 or 5 games.
I think one of the things, too, we get caught up in baseball is early slumps are magnified. And if you're missing a couple guys in your lineup and you have a Christopher Morel slumping, you're not seeing a lot of power in the lineup. But most hitters are like him, that they're streaky. There aren't a lot of hitters just breeze through seasons.
No, the players always talk like Freddie Freeman. There's not many Freddie Freemans out there that seem to be almost slump-proof. Most of these guys go up and down, and I say the same thing about teams early in the season as well, that you finally get to a critical number of games when you lose, you go 2-5 in a 7-game stretch. It's not the end of the world. You do that this time of year, it's really magnified. And so I do think that everything early in the season is magnified for sure.
Swing and a miss there from Bush. And the count now 3-2. 20-14. You spent a large chunk of the early season without, I think you could argue, your 3 best players. So you pleased overall?
Yeah, I think that we played really good baseball for quite a while. I do think we've been sort of scrambling this last week to 10 days. But I think that makes sense given, we're offense, we've got some guys slumping, we're missing those guys. But I'm really proud of the guys. We've been super resilient. It's not easy to play without all your best players, and I think we're coming up on we have 16 games in a row that ends on Wednesday with a tough road trip. So I think our guys have had a lot of reasons to be tired, a lot of reasons to have things not go perfectly, and I think we've really grinded through, and I think that that's been a great characteristic of this team so far.
Peralta facing Swanson, 1 out, man at first, no score. Jed Hoyer joining us in the booth. What's up with the defense overall this year? I mean, today the defense has been spectacular, but this team was projected to be a good to very good defensive team, and it hasn't played out that way. What's your take?
Very true. There's no denying that. We've been much sloppier than when we were at our best last year. I felt like we played clean game after clean game with really good defense. My hope is that this is simply a defensive slump, that we've had some guys make some key mistakes and maybe lost a little bit of confidence, but the personnel is there to be a good defensive team, but we just haven't been, and hopefully that tightens up as the weather gets warmer and as things get going.
I think so often we talk about timing and rhythm in hitting, in pitching. We never talk about it in defense, and that's a thing that players go through.
Yeah, we just made miscues at the wrong times, things. But like I said, I'm hoping that it's just a defensive slump, because Boog's question is, it's undeniable we have not been the defensive team that we need to be and how we're built. I think we're built in a way that we need to play really tight defense, and I think we will. But it has been a struggle.
I've always felt when I was managing that your minor leagues was somewhat of your lifeline. You have to be really pleased with what the kids have come up in PCA and Wisniewski and Ben Brown, and these guys have come up and done a really good job through some important injuries.
I think that's the biggest silver lining of everything that's happened so far, is that those guys have had success. So, now we're 35 games into the season after today, but Wes has made a bunch of starts. Ben Brown has made a bunch of starts. Obviously, what Assad has done, they might not have gotten those opportunities if everything had gone perfectly. Now, I think, as an organization, as a team, we have so much confidence that those guys can step in and do it. And, I think Pete's played really well in center. And the more this happens, the more guys come up and have success, the more that next man up mentality, happens. And, I think we're Steele's going to pitch tomorrow, and we're going to get some of these other guys back soon. But
line third, back to first, and that's a double play. You want to finish your thought?
I was saying we're never going to get to a point of perfection, right? Like, you're always going to have guys injured, and these guys will come back, but other things will happen. It's really important as a group to know the next guy up is always there, because you're always going to have injuries. You're always going to have things that happen. Just because we're getting Belly and Seiya and those guys back doesn't mean we're over that. That's going to keep happening.
Jed, good stuff. Thanks for stopping by.
Always. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Jed Hoyer, president of baseball operations for the Cubs. No score. We're heading to the fifth.
For your next vehicle.
More good work. Jed Hoyer talking about that low heartbeat. Horner diving, and it's under his glove and out into center field. Perkins with a single. Folks, whether you're hosting friends, family, or clients at your next celebration, discounted group tickets are available for most games at Wrigley Field. For details, visit Cubs.com/groups.
This is one of those days that the wind's blowing in. There's probably not a lot of home runs going to be hit. Speed at first, speed at the plate. Maybe Milwaukee tries to put him in motion.
That's in for a strike to Churio.
And it's not a situation that I would definitely hit and run with, because Churio has so much swing and miss, but take a chance, try to get him in scoring position.
It's a play you've really seen that's died in baseball. I mean, it doesn't happen anymore.
And I don't know if there's one side that you blame, but pitcher stuff is so hard to make contact with. It doesn't make sense.
Yes. Well, I think it dovetails a little bit into the conversation about the people that would rail about beating the shift, in terms of, in today's game, the average fastball is 94 miles an hour. You have so much trouble just making contact, and now you want them to aim it. On the ground out to short. Swanson to first, not in time. Churio beat it out.
Yeah, another guy that runs extremely well. You're not going to have any chance of turning a double play here. Good job by Swanson making sure of one. Nico making sure of one. He just runs too well. And this is the other thing that athleticism does. It keeps you out of double plays. I mean, look at the Yankees have like 40 double plays. He's running extremely well there because they don't have a ton of athleticism on their team. And Baltimore a few days ago was the lowest amount at 8. I mean, that's a huge discrepancy.
Yeah. And Baltimore is a very athletic team.
Oof. With power.
Pitch to Freeland. Bounce. Oh, nice play in the backhand. Bush will get up, dive, and tag the base. Well done. I think a really smart play to not mess around and say, should I try to get the guy at second and just say, I'm going to take the out.
Yeah, and he's just learning the position, and he understands the speed of Jackson Chourio. I mean, this is a really heads-up play. When you have guys that can really run, this is going to be a really tough play to get up and try to make an accurate throw. Take the out, put the runner in scoring position with 2 outs, and make sure you don't give them a big inning because it's hard to recover from big innings.
Cubs have played great, not good, great defense here today. As Contreras comes up empty. Swanson's made a couple of really nice plays, and Bush has made a couple of really nice plays. The inning ended, and we didn't get a chance to touch on the bullpen with Jed Hoyer. I think there's the one thing that I'm interested in. I feel like this team has scored. They're going to get back and get healthy. You have to figure they're going to be an above average offensive team. We talked about the defense. The starting pitching looks good. I think I'm most curious to see, can they ultimately have a good bullpen, and can it be done with the pieces that are here right now?
Yeah, I think, one of the things is Adbert has really struggled. And Adbert was fantastic last year.
Yes.
And it moves everybody around. It's one thing if your 7th inning guy struggles. It's another thing if your closer struggles, because then everyone gets moved up, and maybe some guys aren't ready for those big of outs. But I think their bullpen's going to get better when they get starters back, because some of these guys in the rotation are going to go to the bullpen.
That's in for a strike.
He got a little extra here on this good slider that he throws with the good depth. Here's the other thing, Boo, when I look at the bullpen, they've walked too many people. That's one thing that they have to clean up.
And now Assad will step off the backside of the rubber. 3-2 due to William Contreras.
Well, the last time he had a runner on second with 2 outs, he grounded out to Nico Horner. This is not the guy you want up with runners in scoring positions, but it's happened twice today.
And that one misses. Contreras tosses the bat, and now 2 are aboard.
Yeah, this is just a good take on a cutter. And what he tried to do is he tried to repeat the pitch before that he got from the home plate umpire. I think Contreras is letting the umpire know that he didn't like the 3-1 strike. He better not call that one a strike.
I think you're absolutely right.
Bat flippage on a ball.
Welcome to 2024. 2 on, 2 out, no score, and it's Tyler Black. And there's a strike.
I know Tyler Black has had a really good eye in the minor leagues, but there's a lot of pitches he don't like called strikes on him, I've noticed in this little bit of time.
He's a guy at the minor league level, a lifetime on base percentage of, I think, .412.
Is that good?
I'm saying so. The 1-1 foul back. It's 1-2. To your point, Cubs bullpen has an 11.2% walk rate, and that is the 5th highest in baseball.
How are the other teams doing with higher walk rates? Is there a bullpen?
Well, the Rays bullpen is second. The White Sox are first. The Rockies are third. The Mets are fourth.
Not really good bullpens.
No, and so far not great teams. Breaking ball in there, got him, freeze him. Asada's fired up. Continues to live dangerously. Pitches out of the jam. Midway in the fifth, still no score.
Production. The good news, two of their best offensive weapons should be back relatively soon. Craig Counsell saying that both Seiya Suzuki and Cody Bellinger could be back with the Major League squad within the next week or so. Beginning with Cody Bellinger, he was out on the field today taking swings, just a continued progression of what he's been doing the last couple days. Some swings in the cages, running around the bases, doing some defensive work. And then Seiya, big news for him today. Not only did he take swings, but he also ran around the bases, which is a big step for him because, as we have mentioned, he suffered the oblique injury from running. And so this was good for him to get around the bases. The next step for him is most likely a rehab assignment. They have just not said exactly when, but it should be pretty soon. And I loved how he pretended to collapse there. That's truly Seiya form, just having some fun there. So good to see him being him, and hopefully back in the lineup within the next week or so, guys.
Yeah, that would be an absolute plus to get those two guys back, or at least get one of them back.
Well, I would, T-Mac, I think you should make the suggestion to Seiya. You hit home runs, you don't have to run the bases hard.
Yeah.
My favorite play, the home run.
Yes. And Wisdom on a called strike 3, dotted down and in.
This is one of those borderline pitches that kind of went back and forth. It just nips that corner. I mean, that's a great sinker. Not a pitch that he throws a ton. He's throwing him some changeups, some breaking balls. He's done a really good job of laying off the slider. Freddie Peralta's 4th K today.
By the way, just to finish up with T-Mac, somebody told me that Vegas had the money line as even, that when we came back, she was just going to punt on her hit and just start singing Patrick Wisdom's walk-up song. Dance with somebody. Out to short. Throw. And PCA beats the rap. He showed off that speed right there.
The importance of speed guys putting the ball in play and not swinging and missing is they get so many hits like this. Tough play for Adames. He had to back up to get the hop that he could field. And once he did that, it allowed PCA to be safe. Boy, what an advantage to have speed when you talk about base hits. Catchers don't necessarily get a lot of infield base hits, Boog. A lot of people have to fall down, dive, slip, getting back up.
Well, there goes the run. Pitch is a ball, and then the transfer is dropped, and PCA with a stolen base.
Well, I know he made the transfer, but that's one of those where you just eat it. Peralta was slow to home. He got a huge jump, a huge jump. And I think he could have went up standing up even if he threw it. Look at this. He does a good job of picking it, but Peralta's slow to home. And when you can throw sliders like that, a lot of times you don't have to worry about the base runners as much. His strikeout rate is really high.
For Pete Crow Armstrong, by the way, his 2nd stolen base. And again, this is a guy that last year between AA and AAA had 37 of them. He can really run.
Boog, is that how you played the outfield, like PCA?
I mean, on a golf cart, maybe. And Amaya gets plunked.
Yeah, you always worry about when they're inside like that, they hit the hand because there's so many little bones, but it looks like it gets him on that elbow pad.
Yep.
Hopefully it got all of the elbow pad, because when you get behind the arm on that tricep muscle, it swells a lot, but it looks like he's okay. Thank God for that pad.
So now 2 aboard and something brewing for the Cubs. That's in the dirt.
They're playing the Brewers. I like how you did.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I did.
One to Nico. Line drive, base hit, slicing out into right center. Racing around to score is Pete Crow Armstrong. And here comes Amaya to the plate, and the throw offline. 2 come in to score. Nico, a 2-run double, and it is 2-0 Cubs. This double is brought to you by Elgin Hyundai, home of the 20-year and 200,000-mile warranty on every new car.
Well, we talked about Freddie Peralta with runners in scoring position. The one weakness he's had this year, Blake Perkins gets to it quickly, kind of drops it, and then Terrain makes an inaccurate throw, which allows Amaya to score. He was trying to throw him a fastball in, didn't get it in enough, and look at Nico go. A double, a 2-run double, and I talked about not a lot of runs today probably amongst these starters, and it's been a pitcher's duel up until this point. You see Amaya running, and this always feels better after you get punked, putting a little earned run on a pitcher. Love it.
Miguel Amaya comes in to score on the heels of Pete Crow Armstrong. Nico with the Elgin Hyundai double. And the Cubs on top. Nico Horner started the year 3 for 26. Since then, at 318 and 1 for 3 today. So that'll go up a little bit. And now Tauchman a chance to drive him home. And there's a strike.
And the frustrating part for Nico, when he was 3 for 26, he was hitting the ball hard and nothing to show for it. And the thing you have to be careful as a hitter is that you don't change anything, because eventually they're going to be hits. They're going to find the right holes.
0-1. With a man in scoring position. Time down for Intelligence Center, powered by CDW and Microsoft. And both these guys, you look at with men in scoring position, and for Peralta, 280 is the average. Tauchman rolls that to the right side. Terang handles the chance. Nico to third. So Assad is great with men in scoring position, and Peralta has not been so great. All right, let's take a look at that double one more time. Speaking of Javier Assad in there, looking, cheering.
Pitchers love that run support.
In the dirt, gets away. Here comes Nico. And on the wild pitch, the curveball gets away. It's 3-0.
When you look at Contreras, he's been a good blocker all year long. +2 blocks above average, but he had his glove the wrong way. He thought it was going to get to him. It didn't. And when it did that short hop, it was off his glove, and an easy run for the Cubs. A big run for the Cubs.
If you were to take by pitch type degree of difficulty in blocking, how would it go?
For me, it was always the changeup.
Was hardest?
Yes, because a changeup, if it's a right-handed changeup, when they bounce it a lot of times, they bounce it to the catcher's right. The flight of the ball is usually you're expecting it to go to the left, so you're shading your body that way, a little more weight to push to go to your left. And it's the pulled ones they throw in the dirt, and it's just hard to get over there.
Okay.
And I would always love when people would say, why didn't you block that fastball? It's not supposed to be in the dirt.
Yeah.
It gets on you too quick.
Happ takes the walk. Ian on base for the second time, and now a chance for Christopher Morel, who's walked twice himself. Cubs lead at 3-0. We're in the 5th. Quiet right now in the Brewers' pen. The pitch count starting to ratchet up for Peralta. Christopher Morel, including today now, 13 walks in the last 18 games. So that is becoming part of his tool bag.
Cubs coming in today were 6th in baseball, all of baseball in walks. Had 4 today, a hit by pitch. They've taken advantage of free base runners, gotten his pitch count up.
That one squirts away from Contreras. And down to second goes Happ.
We've seen some strange things in this inning. It's kind of a circus inning. Boo. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, he's trying to frame it because he didn't expect Morel to possibly swing at it, and it's off the plate. Got a wild pitch, pass ball, didn't execute a relay throw.
Okay, now the count 3-1.
Freddie Peralta starting to miss a lot.
Morel walks for the 3rd time today.
Plan your trip at eagleriver.org.
Thiago Vieira is up in the Milwaukee pen. A chance here for Michael Busch with 2 aboard. Peralta kick steals, and that's in for a strike. 94 at the top edge of the zone. Stopped by Contreras. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's pulling fastballs. His changeups have been up and in or below the zone. What do you think the chances are, Boog, if I told you the Cubs were going to have 5 walks today and Christopher Morel had 3 of them? What would you have bet?
Yeah, I would have said that would have been kind of unlikely. I would have put Tauchman and Happ as the 2 guys most likely to be in that category. By the way, the 50-50 up over 120 smackers.
So I'm not sure the word you used when it was at 99. Does it have a new word when it gets over? You said a lot of jingle.
Jingle.
What is it when it's over 100?
Loot. It's all on a card.
It's a lot of cake.
That's right. 2 aboard. And a 1-2 is high. Most pitches Freddie Peralta has thrown this year is 100. In the dirt.
He's averaged about 88 pitches per start. Cubs have done a really good job of grinding out at bats against him.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things this Cub lineup has shown. When it's good, they will grind you down.
And they did a much better job last year. This is just a continuation. I think they're even better, Boo.
3-2, cut on and miss, struck him out. Busch is gone on strikes for the 3rd time today. The Cubs scored 3 times. Javier Assad back to work. And how about the right-hander on Cinco de Mayo? And he continues to do the job as we bring back our McDonald's McNugget of the game. He's the first Mexican-born pitcher to start on Cinco de Mayo from Tijuana, and there's the mural in Tijuana. This one popped up. Amaya makes the catch. Kid from Mexico throws the pitch to the kid from Panama. The kid from the Dominican pops it up in the air. It's neat how this game.
Is that international?
I mean, it's really cool.
That's straight WBC baseball.
Believe it. Balls, no strikes on Terang.
If you're Assad here, you just got to throw something for a strike here, just because he's not going to hit the ball out of the ballpark with a win today. You have a 3-0 lead, and he's been so good at throwing strikes. Look, I know the box isn't perfect, but he has a 3-0 count, and the box has said it's 1-2.
Yeah. That's in there for a strike. Yeah, the box isn't perfect, but I will say the box is the system that they use to evaluate the umpires. It's all based on all the cameras in place in all the ballparks. 3-1. And he walked it.
Whether a data center, small business, or solar array, we have the skills to meet Chicagoland's climate goals. Partner with Power in Chicago and build better construction, better careers, and better communities.
One out man at first. It's Terang, who's got big time speed, and now Rhys Hoskins, who's got some pop. The lefty Richard Lovelady is up. Ground ball out to short. And Swanson handles the chance. That was one of those where positioning affected the Cubs' possible ability to get a double play there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Nico thought the ball was going to be closer to second base, and he went after it. You see Dansby in the hole and thought that he was going to have to make the play. And if he goes to second base, they possibly get a double play.
Dunn fouls that one off.
Any balls in the box this year? Press box. Any balls up here?
No. I think the writers have gotten one, maybe. And maybe that up.
Sounded good.
Yeah. You just gotta deliver it with passion. You know, you gotta own it.
You gotta make it believable.
That's right.
I see you got Clark with you.
I do. Clark the plushie. One of those made its way up here. Yep.
Jim used it as a back.
It was lumbar support.
Yeah.
Clark the Cub, the plushie. Very huggable. Swing and a miss. Gets away from Amaya. He'll throw to first to finish it off. 6 shutout innings. Javier Assad, the roll continues.
Offensively, hitting just .218 on this season with a .288 on base coming into today. Cubs hitting coach Dustin Kelly addressing the media today, saying with Dansby, it's a little bit of his timing. He has a tendency to be early, so it's been a lot of pull side ground balls. They're working on just staying up the middle for him. And to DK's point, when you look at his ground ball rate, it's the highest of his career at this point in this season. So now the question becomes, how do you address that? And every hitter is different. With Dansby, one of the things they've done is had him watch old video when he's had success. Not necessarily trying to create any feelings from that time, but looking for cues and also a little bit of confidence. Like, hey, that's you hitting those home runs to hopefully just get him into something, guys.
Let's create some feelings. Swing and a miss there from Swanson. The other thing as well, it's pull on the ground. There's swing and miss. I mean, the whiff rate and the strikeout rate would be career highs as well.
Well, when you're early, you're going to have a lot of swing and miss, because if you're pulling the fastball, you're really susceptible to the breaking ball. And that's why you see hitters talk about trying to take the fastball through the middle right center, so they're on time for the breaking ball as well.
Two. Outside low. And a check swing did not go. Pitching changes brought to you by Lakeside Bank. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. Thiago Vieira for the 11th time.
Obviously, command's been an issue. You see the walk rate command issue also leads to home runs.
Drilled center field. Speaking of home runs, that one back and gone. Dansby Swanson with his fourth. That's got to feel good. And it is 4-0. You were saying Joe Girardi.
Well, I mean, that's what makes Javier Assad so successful, I think, is because he's always had to locate, because he doesn't have overpowering stuff. But Vieira does, and if you don't locate it, hitters are so used to seeing 98, 99, they can turn it around, and that's exactly what Dansby Swanson did. Just a beautiful swing, a ball through the middle of the field, almost left center. Nice add-on run.
A home run replay brought to you by Toyota, the official vehicle of the Chicago Cubs.
I'm sure Taylor gave him some hitting points right before he went up there.
That created some feelings right there. Check swing, he went too far. It's 1-2.
Patrick's done a real good job of laying off pitches below the zone and off the plate today. That's the first one he's really went after. It's hard when a guy throws 98, 99.
Punch to right. Frelick makes the catch.
It's a hard sinker that's down and in, and you see his back leg go down. When that back leg goes down, the ball goes in the air, and it's just a beautiful swing. He stayed it through the middle of the field. Dansby could tell himself to stay gap to gap. I think he'd be much more effective, and he would not be early all the time. When you're early, your bat's finishing the swing, it's going up, and you get on top of the ball.
Ball one, no strikes to Pete Crow Armstrong. In the air out towards right center. And Perkins calls it in. Folks, Cubs baseball is presented by Fast Play. Download the Illinois Lottery app to play today.
Where do they get all these boys, the Milwaukee Brewers, to throw 100?
It's amazing, right? Just
Uribe just went down. He throws 100.
Yep.
McGill's throwing 100. He really has a hard time, it seems like to me, with his slider. It's like his arm doesn't catch up. Leaves a lot of them up, a lot of them middle in. It's a good pitch for a right-handed hitter to hit.
On the ground, that's the third. Done. And the inning is over. Insurance runs are brought to you by Breakdown. Bullpen beware. Innings 1 through 6 for the Brewers in this series. They have not scored. Pat Murphy's team from the 7th on. They've scored 8 times. So it'll be left up to Yency Almonte and company. And See if it can stop that trend. Our Nissan breakdown. Nissan makes cars that thrill. Experience the thrill yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com as Blake Perkins faces the new pitcher.
Yeah, Yancey, this is 16th game. The one thing that sticks out is when he gets in trouble, it's because of walks. They have not hit him hard. He keeps the ball in the ballpark. Sinker, slider, changeup. Some people might call it a sweeper. Because of that big sweeper, he's been much tougher on right-handed hitters than left-handers. Right-handers hitting 156, lefties only hitting 214.
His primary fastball is that sinker. You see where he lines up. I mean, it's basically from his toes off the edge of the first base side of the rubber. And a swing and a miss right there as he gets Perkins. Let's send it downstairs and T-Mac.
Yeah, you mentioned that sinker for Yency Almonte, talking to him about his journey through Major League Baseball. He started in Colorado as a four-seam guy with the occasional slider, and then when he went to the Dodgers, they basically changed his repertoire and added that sinker, which has really been the huge pitch for him in 22 when he had a breakout season. That was the go-to weapon that he developed that year.
One of the things I think is interesting, it's something the Cubs do. I'm sure other teams do it. It wouldn't surprise me if that's how the Dodgers did it. But when you go to spring training, they'll have you go into that pitch lab, and they will have you throw pitches that you don't throw. So if you're a four-seam fastball guy, they'll have you rip off 5 or 6 sinkers just to see what the numbers say, the action, etc., and file it away and say, maybe down the line we turn you into a sinker baller, or I know you throw a curveball as your breaking pitch. Let's have you try some sliders.
Yeah, I think the other thing is, how do you know that it's not a good pitch if you've never thrown it? I mean, you might have the perfect windup, the perfect fingers,
the
way the ball comes out of your hand, and it also kind of gives him that crisscross because his breaking ball's going to the left if you're the pitcher, and the sinker's going to the right, and they're tunneling and doing the same thing. And the other reason that, you know, they call it a sweeper, and you see him on the first base side, it almost has to go straight down. If it had any sweep, it's going to be a ball and hit a left-handed hitter in the back leg.
In there, got him. And Almonte off to a good start.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is a breaking ball that just basically goes straight down. It almost kind of backs up. It's that angle he throws it at. He kind of backdoors, and I think he's trying to go more down and in. But because of the depth and the lack of sweep to it, it's a really good pitch.
Frelick, the 95-mile-an-hour four-seamer that he went to, and obviously against lefties, try and use that to crowd him a little bit. The 0-1. And there's the slider.
Yeah, it's just really got good depth and location today, and that's a key for him. It's a strike right until the end. It's all strike, and then right at the last 5 feet it dives out of the zone. And that's deception, and that's how you get left-handed hitters out, because they like the ball down and in. Just go lower than low.
Did he go? Yes, he did. Ring him up. Frelick is gone. Yency Almonte strikes out the side. And Harry standing by. 7th inning stretch brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
Your attention to the left field video board as Harry Carey leads us with "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Let me hear you. Good and loud. On 1, on 2, on 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack.
3 to be exact, and Dansby Swanson breaking out of his funk a little bit with a solo homer in the 6th. It's all brought to you by Wintrust. Jansen junk on here.
Talk about not living up to your name. This guy throws like 64% fastballs.
Yeah, you got to mix it up. Nico lifts that in the air out towards right center. Perkins waves off Frelick. Pitching change brought to you by Lakeside Bank. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. It's a really good name, though.
Oh, it's a fantastic fastball, sinker, curveball, slider, changeup. Hasn't walked anyone. Doesn't strike a lot of people out in the 2 games he's been up. It's going to be a lot of contact, a lot of fly balls. 4-seamer up in the zone.
By the way, the Cubs starting pitching is 3.13 is the team starting ERA, and that's 4th best in baseball. That is up to date, up to the minute.
How do you get up to date, up to the minute? I understand up to date. The minute?
Up to the minute.
You got a website
going right around the league, all around the league. It's a supercomputer called Cooper Stats. And to left field, Mike Tauchman the other way. And he's on base 2 more times. Beautiful shots from our Megalodon camera powered by Nissan. Nissan makes cars that thrill. Experience the thrill yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. Fouls that one off. Jake Bowers, by the way, who hit for Jackson Churio, stays in the game in left field.
William Contreras got that old dreaded foul tip that hits off like your ring finger and your middle finger. It doesn't go in the glove because of the foul tip. I feel for you, brother.
All right, can I ask you something really quickly?
Yes.
Watch how William Contreras sets up and watch what he does with his bare hand.
I was never comfortable putting it there. Some guys are just really comfortable and take a chance. I mean, he just kind of tucks it in his, right above his right thigh.
But it's still out front.
I know. Boog, I don't like it. I wouldn't teach it.
Little roller to first, Black. Hap is out of the baseline.
Can you tell me how you score that? Is that a 3U?
That's a 3U.
All right.
3U.
Talk about working on your turns to first base. I mean, this is getting that nice banana angle to get to second. Except he's got to get to first. But Boog, I think it's like being a little boy and they tell you don't touch the stove, right? And we're going to touch it or we don't get burned. It's when you get burned and you get hit a couple times, you change your mind.
Base hit up the middle. Here comes Tauchman around third. Morel is knocked in a run. And it's now 5-0. Have a day, Christopher Morel. 3 walks. And Spider-Man comes through with the RBI single.
And I like it's a breaking ball that he hits. And we know he can hit the fastball. And he had a lot of success on sliders, but he makes a mistake and he's ready to swing. And that's the thing as a hitter. It has to be yes, 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 no if it's a ball. But if it's a strike, Christopher, take a good hack up on it because you do so much damage when you put the ball in play. Tauchman been on base twice today, scored a run, had a 400 on base coming into the game. And tack on runs are so important because it changes how you use your bullpen. It can make your closer not have to pitch a couple days in a row and then he's available the next day. It's win today, but when you can tack on runs, it changes how you use your bullpen and you can use some of the lower leverage guys.
I feel like you just quoted Mariano Duncan.
Why?
Wasn't his thing when he was with the Yankees? We win today, we play today?
No, we play today, we win today.
We play today, we win today.
And what did I say?
I think that's what you said.
You worry about today. If you have to use your high leverage, you use it. But
Was he on the 96 team?
Yeah. Yeah, made a T-shirt out of it.
2-1. Outside corner for a strike, and now it's 2-2. We play today, we win today. There goes a runner from first. Pitch is cut on and missed. Bush down on strikes for the 4th time today.
But I have a sense it was a little bit of, it's working.
Indeed. Ground ball to the right side, and Horner handles the chance.
It's one of those things when you get instant feedback and you get that feeling, it can lead to a really hot streak. And I think you were talking about it earlier. That's what the lab does for the pitchers. It gives you instant feedback. So important.
Yeah, it's with the camera behind. Nick Madrigal, by the way, into the game at third. Yeah, with the camera behind, and then the Rapsodo or the TrackMan. Back in the day, that was a good slider, and now you have data to back it up. What we got going on here, John Tumpane?
I think it's the Paul O'Neill theory. The more you yell at them, umpires, and the more you question them, the more you get, and the more they get used to it. They say, well, that's just Paul O'Neill.
They've been not egregious, but mildly egregious.
And this is where you get killed for a catcher on framing, because there's a number of borderline pitches he didn't get, and sometimes it's just the umpire. Sometimes it's the catcher.
Yeah, sometimes you're right.
But Amaya has been pretty good at framing the whole year, and
yes.
I don't think he's changed today.
Miguel pushing the buttons. Almonte listens in and says yes. And a 3-2 to Black. Fly ball left field for Happ. Out number 2. Coming up at 7 here on Marquee Sports Network. It's the Chicago Red Stars in action, presented by Sloan. And tonight the Red Stars will face Bay FC. And again, coming up right here on Marquee at 7. And brought to you by Sloan. Thomas hits that one well, left field, half back near the wall. Makes the catch. 6 up, 6 down for Yency Almonte, and the Cubs have a driven by the Bob Locurcio Auto Group. Dansby Swanson unloading for his 4th of the year. How far did it travel? 399 feet. Brought to you by the Bob Locurcio Auto Group. You're going to like buying a car this way. So Swanson at the plate. In the air, left field for Bowers. He just got under that because he hit it 101.
Yeah, Boog, that had a lot of height on it. I mean, that's a fair catch. I mean, you timed a fair catch that one.
Yeah.
This could be a loud noise, Boo.
Are you predicting? Predicting? Goodness.
I've liked his at-bats today. I don't think he's really chased much off a really tough pitcher in Freddie Peralta. Seems to be in a pretty good position.
Wisdom hits it hard on the ground, under the glove of John and out into left field.
They threw him a high slider for a called strike, and then throws him one down in the zone that he can handle. And under the glove of Oliver Dunn, has not made an error all year. I know he hasn't had a ton of chances.
They go with a base hit as that one was hard hit. 102.7 on your FM dial. Here's Pete Crow Armstrong. PCA, who played his high school ball at Harvard Westlake High School out in the Los Angeles area. And of course, we're known for a powerful baseball program. And PCA, a first-round pick, Lucas Giolito, Max Fried, Jack Flaherty. There's another kid, Bryce Rayner, who's projected to be a first-round pick out of that school this year.
And I think I saw there's another kid that's like around the 50s. Yeah, that's a pretty good rotation. Max Fried, Flaherty.
Yeah, they didn't win the state title until it was just Flaherty by himself.
What were they doing?
I don't know. I think one of the years Giolito ended up having Tommy John.
A young man by the name of Christian Scott started for the New York Mets yesterday. And he's the Mets' #1 pitching prospect. Played with my son, Calvary Christian, in Fort Lauderdale. And he was a senior, and they won the state title. And my son was a sophomore, so he had a good day. Gave up 3 hits to start the game and only gave up 1 run.
He's the Mets' top pitching prospect. .50-50 update. It is up to 144 simoleons.
The pot's getting bigger and the words are getting longer.
Yeah, they are. First, Wisdom back in.
So I wonder if Black was saying, your sinker's better than Freddie's that he threw to me. Anyone hit me in the chest over here?
Two. Pete Crow Armstrong waits. Contreras tried to frame that one for John Tumpane, who wasn't buying, and now the count's filled up. It's 3-2. Wisdom goes, and PCA fouls it back. And that's high for ball 4. Wisdom is out, and then he's safe.
Stay on the bag. Don't let him deke you.
So a walk and now 2 aboard with 1 out. Take a look at our Steinhoppel's upcoming schedule. And 3 with the Padres on Marquee Sports Network. And then it's an off day on Thursday. And a trip to both Pittsburgh and Atlanta. Come on out. Good seats still available for the Padres series.
Game on Wednesday against San Diego will finish up 16 in a row, and then they'll play another 10 in a row, 26 out of 27 days.
Off at the dish.
Maya's been one of those hitters that's kind of fallen in some bad luck. Expected batting average with how hard he's hit the ball is 240. He's done a really nice job behind home plate when you think about what the staff has done the last 16, 17 games. And I think, being around Yan Gomes, he's learned to take a lot of pride in that, how the staff does, and it's not all about offensive numbers, and that's a defensive catcher minded that you want.
Runners take off. That one fouled back. He's got some pop. The framing numbers, as Joe alluded to, they're pretty good. And obviously, for Amaya coming back from that Tommy John surgery, you see position players have it. I almost would say you have sort of the three buckets, because you have pitcher Tommy John, position player Tommy John, which I think for the catcher it's a little different, right? I mean, than the other position players. He's throwing so much.
But I would think, for like a shortstop and middle infielders, it's going to be about the same time.
Yep.
Catchers usually don't DH a lot. So you have Contreras that does it. You have Rutschman that does it. So sometimes they can come back a little early, as well as infielders. I mean, Harper came back really fast, but he DH'd for the first 3 months of the season before he got in the field.
Yeah, really fast. Fouled the plate. They'll do it again. One out, runners at first and second. The Cubs leading at 5-0 and looking to maybe break it open with a long one here. Junk to the plate.
He's seen a little bit of everything. He's pitched 9 coming, curveballs, sliders, 4-seamers. No 2 speeds in a row. He's went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Double will score 2. The speed you have at first, too, PCA.
2-2. Swing and a miss. And 2 down now. Cub fans, go to Marquee Sports Network to learn about Yency Almonte's journey to become a fixture in the Cubs bullpen. It's presented by Jeff Vukovich, your local Nationwide insurance agent. Visit jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side.
It's a great sound when it hits that back wall.
Bounce to third. Dunn charges first in time. Horner is out. And that will end the 8th. We'll have of stellar plays. And the Cubs enjoying a 5-0 lead.
See Daniel Palencia on the mound for the 6th time, the ERA 5. He had 1 bad game, but I was impressed with his velocity I saw the other night. I think I saw him touch 101. Starting to get heated up a little bit, Boog.
Yep.
Arm strength is coming back for a power guy. Great job by Yency Almonte. Give him 2 strong innings. Didn't throw a lot of pitches.
Called a strike as Terang waits. That's fouled back. Bryce Terang, very good speed, good defender, and offensively his season's gotten off to an excellent start. Valencia with a long wait, now fires. Through there, got him. There's your 101, Joe Girardi.
101 with movement, starts in off the plate, and it's going to come back. You look at this. Wow. I mean, that's almost unhittable. I think the best you can hope to do with that is foul it off and live for another day.
Man.
Same pitch, starts off the plate, comes back.
Stocky right-hander delivers. And Hoskins fouls it back. Our quality starts are brought to you by National Car Rental. Control confidence. And in this series, how about 6 1/3, 6 and 6, all scoreless. Their quality starts brought to you by National Car Rental. Drilled to center, but PCA there. And Hoskins is out. And the Cubs an out away from taking 2 of 3 from the Brewers.
What was really impressive about Javier Assad today, too, is he got all the way through the 6th and almost all the way through the lineup the 3rd time, which has been a struggle for him. But not today. He continues to grow as a starting pitcher.
Valencia delivers. Line drive, short hop, knocked down, redirects to Swanson, safe at first. Oh. I mean, that would have been something right there.
100-mile-an-hour fastball from Palencia. Hit 108 miles an hour. A line drive to Nico, short hopping. He tipped it to Swanson. Swanson makes a good throw, but just too much speed on this Brewers team to get Oliver Dunn.
So Dunn is aboard. First one to Perkins is in for a strike. Runner takes off, swing and a miss. The 0-2. And it's just triple digits after triple digits. Let's see what Amaya goes with. Breaking ball, or maybe he'll push the one that says 101.
Start in off the plate and run back.
0-2 man at second. Here comes. Ball game. Cubs win. There's the 101. They take 2 of 3 from the Brewers, and it's time to sing the song.